Yeah, you're going to mention there's another famous African American person who used the use of a noose and basically probably hanged himself with it, didn't he?
Yes, Jussie Smollett, yeah.
Jussie Smollett, yeah.
I've never heard of this guy before this story. I think most people have never heard of Jussie Smollett. He
was on Empire. Our friend who lives out in Selbridge who's got great taste. He's a big fan of that show, so it must be shit.
I found out he was in Eight Covenant as well as a big.
Oh, was he? Yeah, I never heard him before this week either.
Yeah, but yeah, I suppose I don't think anyone's missed this story. But basically, he was claiming that he was getting sort of threatening letters to his place of work with, racial insults and stuff like that. And I had like crude drawings of someone hanging from a noose, and the return address was MAGA, which is obviously Make America Great Again. And I suppose the main story was when he was coming out from a nightclub, and he was going to Subway to get something to eat after a night out, spicy Italian or whatever. And he was coming out with a sandwich. And he was on the phone to his manager, I think, and someone approached him, and they said, "Hey, Empire," and he carried on walking, and then they started insulting him. So then he turned around, and then he said they got into a bit of a fight, and within this scuffle, he after it was over, they yelled, "This is MAGA country." Anyway, he found out that he was covered in bleach and had a noose around his neck. Didn't drop his sandwich now, which was very impressive. And anyway, he called the police, who interviewed him. They arrived at his apartment. I think it was like something like 40 minutes later. Still had the noose around his neck to show them what had happened to him. So he made a statement, and they found these two people on CCTV, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's them." And anyway, that was it for a while. He was doing the circuits. He's talking about how, I'm a victim of racial abuse, homophobic abuse as well, because he's a gay man. And, everyone was sort of saying, look at what's happening to this guy. He's been, people even called it a modern day lynching. And, he was sort of on stage. He referred to himself as the gay Tupac.
Oh,
and
did
he? And how he fought back against these attackers. And a lot of people, including myself, thought it's a bit unusual. It's a bit too perfect, It's a bit.
But like that whole story that you've just read out sounds like a really bad movie.
Yeah.
That he's the star of. Yeah.
I remember you were telling me this in the pub there when I was over in Ireland last week, and I remember you said racial attack, New York City. And
sorry, it was Chicago. I think I told you New York, but it was Chicago.
Oh, you told me New York.
Yeah, it was Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. But I remember. Okay, well, cut that bit out, John. But even Chicago. It's like something you'd hear down south. If it was down the south, like you'd sort of tend to believe it, but the north tends to be a little bit more liberal towards that. But yeah,
apparently the police. I think the brothers. That committed the crime, in inverted commas, they left back to Nigeria, and then when they arrived back to the United States a few days or a few weeks later, the police interviewed them, and apparently as soon as the police interviewed them, they went, "All right, okay, tell us what really happened." They knew it was bullshit. And all of their years of investigating these type of crimes, they smelled something was off. They interviewed the brothers, "Hey, look, pal. Lads, tell us what happened." They told them what happened. They went, "Yeah, we thought so." There is not a cat's chance in hell the police in this day and age would come out and publicly say against a black gay man that you are lying to us. You are not telling the truth. You have made this up. We now believe we know the reason why you've made this up. This is the case. We're going to prosecute you for wasting police time. And it's bizarre that people are still standing behind them. There is no chance in hell the police would risk fucking this up. No chance in hell. I believe that they have every single fact against them. And I think it's absolutely disgraceful that he's used all of the years of racism, of brutal racist attacks against black individuals in America. And And not only that, he's denigrated all of the years that homosexuals in America and all over the world have fought for and have fought for equality, fought for an equilibrium of life, and he's used all of those years of hate to his own benefit, while he thought it was his own benefit, and he's been caught rapid. I think he should be binned, banned. Well, he can never be banned, but he's going to find it very, very hard to get work.
Take his passport. Put him in Syria.
Yeah, put him in Syria. Yeah, no, it's just he's an absolute idiot and an absolute bella, and I have no sympathy for him whatsoever.
He isn't the most cleverest person, because you know how he paid the two lads.
He didn't pay them by direct debit, did he?
No, he paid them by check.
Oh, all right, okay. I didn't know.
Do you know how they found the two lads?
No.
He did. Police asked him for his phone records, and he was kind of sketchy about it. He was like, "Oh, well, what do you want my phone records for? We just want to know who you've been talking to." And so he gives them this heavily redacted phone list with a lot of numbers taken out. So what the police did was they just went to the phone company and they said, "Can we have the phone records of Jussie Smollett for police investigation?" And all they did was just ones that he redacted, and it was the two brothers.
And that's what an idiot! What an idiot!
And he met with them. They were extras on the program Empire.
They were, yeah. I read that too.
Oh wow!
Oh, it's. I'd say it's embarrassing, but this guy made a fake hate crime. You know, I'd say throw the fucking book at him. It's a very serious offence. I don't think he realised, but very serious offence. What?
No.
But he was on. Apparently, he was earning $100,000 an episode.
Yeah, and he wasn't. That was what rumours are now, that he wasn't being paid enough compared to his co-stars.
But like I worked it out. Let's say there's 10 episodes a season. That's $1 million. Half of that gets taxed. That's 500 grand. Let's say another 150,000 is deducted, and agents' fees and blah 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 blah. That's $300,000 left for 3 or 4 months' work for the year. That's a very, very good salary.
Oh yeah.
It's a very, very good salary. So he's a greedy little dirtbag is what he is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, he should be disowned by his. I mean, if I was part of his community, let's say, you know, the black gay community, I would just disown him. I would really disown him.
But it's the Trump thing. It's the Trump thing as well that bothered me. You know, as we've discussed before, Donald Trump is not a racist. You can say what you want. There is no fact. There is no evidence to suggest that Donald Trump is a racist. And to try and link that attack as being racist just because someone was wearing a "Make America Great" hat again is distasteful. It is dumb and it is false. And
that's where he's coming from, though. He you know, you truly believe that people who wear "Make America Great Again" hats are these awful racists. You know, it sort of played into this sort of deluded worldview that, you know, it's us versus them, and look at these Nazis going around the place and stuff like that. I think it's actually, he's basically helped out Trump, you know, for 20.
Oh, he is.
2020.
You're dead right, Sean.
Because you know, there's so little race crimes out there that you have to pay for two Nigerian lads. I think it was something like $4,000 or something like that.
$3,500.
$3,500 to racially abuse you. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. He is a scumbag for doing that. I mean, there's enough problems in the world. There's enough segregation in America, especially with, you know, Donald. Whatever you say about Donald Trump not being a racist, he has brought out, unwittingly, has brought out the worst in America. The worst from the left, the worst from the right. But the left, that's
a fair point.
Yeah, and I mean, especially the left. The left is supposed to be the sensible ones. You know, we're the ones that we talk. We use a pen. We don't use a gun.
They used to be, not anymore though.
Not anymore. No, I said it.
No. And that's why a lot of people from the left voted for Donald Trump in the last presidential election, because they were sick. They were sick of the militancy of the left in certain areas. It's distasteful, and it's you know, like if you're having any discussion, it has to be intelligible. The extreme left aren't intelligent people. The extreme right aren't intelligent people, and you've got a whole lot of people who feel lost in the middle. And when someone like Donald Trump comes along, people go, "Yeah, fuck it. Wow, we'll give this guy a chance." And that's just what happened. But Donald Trump is not a racist. Make America Great Again is not racist. If that was the case, there would be millions upon millions of people who are racist in America, and that is incorrect. But another thing what he's done as well is, can you imagine, there will be future racist attacks in America. There are. Racism is not going to go away. Nope. There will be future homophobic attacks in America. That's not going to go away. Never will. It's a fact. But people have just got, oh, that person has just done a Jussie Smollett on us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's when you make a false accusation, you're the only real victims are victims of the accusation that you were making the false one of. You're not helping people. Can you imagine if you were racially attacked for the color of your skin? One of the most deplorable things you can do.
Yeah.
And you got this fucking Hollywood actor. Well, not quite Hollywood yet, but Empire actor.
Hollywood story maybe, but not actor.
And it's basically that's what he's doing. He's thumbing his nose at people who are actual victims, and it's the same way why you'd hate to see someone make a false accusation, like a false rape accusation. You're not helping victims by doing this. You're actually making it harder for people to come forward with their stories when you do these things.
The way the police work, especially in Britain anyway, and I imagine it follows a similar code in America, is that there's a precedent. People always say, why do you do this? I'm not going to do such and such. Well, sir or madam, that's because somebody did do this and that, and that's why we now have to check you for this and that or whatever. He has now I fear that he has now started a precedent. So he's going to make an uncomfortable situation that's already horrible for the victim, for a real victim. He's going to make it even more uncomfortable for the victim, and he's going to make it more uncomfortable for the police, because now, as Luxie said about, you've done a Jussie Smollett on me, now there is precedent where some dickhead, and he is a dickhead, if he's found guilty of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is ongoing. He
it is ongoing.
Been convicted yet, so he's probably. Go on, sorry.
Still innocent before guilty. Probably should have said that at the top of the subject. But if he is found guilty of this, he deserves a book thrown at him, because he has just behaved in a disgraceful way, and there are real victims out there of homophobic and racial abuse, and it's disgraceful. It's not going to go away. We just need to make sure that these things are dealt with better. We try to educate people as much as we can, and you don't need hysterical arseholes, not just in this, but just in general. Because when you get hysterics and this kind of nonsense, you lose the real core, the real meat of the issue, and that's what we're losing here, and that's what we're losing as a society, I think, anyway. Because somebody comes out, I'm offended because I want to be a dustbin, and somebody doesn't want to call me dustbin, they call me Brian. I'm deeply offended by this. I mean, you're thinking, my grandfather fought the Nazis. I'm sure relatives of ours fought the Nazis for free speech and all this kind of stuff. What? So fucking Harold down the road can call himself a fucking lamppost? It's ridiculous. We're losing the core issues and the core values of society, and I think we're fucked personally. I was actually talking to a teacher. I was at a movie there the other day, and I was talking to this teacher, lovely lady, stay with her friends, and she was telling me that, I'm just back from maternity leave, and my child, I was just looking at him going, you're fucked. The planet's fucked. The country's fucked. The environment's fucked. This is a teacher,
Yeah, but one thing I would say about that, Donny, is I think parents and grandparents have always said that. Always. I remember my granddad used to say, "Oh, your generation." Not that your generation is screwed, but he'd look at where I was and the things that I was saying and just think that, the way kids are nowadays, they haven't got a hope. I think it's a cyclical thing that always happens.
Yeah, but you didn't have, you didn't have what's going on today, like with all the issues, the superficial issues that people are making important.
I think it's relative. And I hope I don't know when it's going to happen, but I think this mass hysteria of being offended is going to reach a certain crescendo, and people will just say, "Fuck this."
I hope so.
Yeah.
Definitely.